Hi, I'm Zachary Carroll. I'm a grade 12 prefect here in Queens College. I'm graduating in June 2013.
My name is Morgan Adderley, and I'm senior prefect for the academic year 2012-2013.
Hi, my name is Brandon Kemp. I am a Queens College prefect graduating in 2013.
Hello, my name is Morgan Bethel. I'm a grade 12 prefect and I'm graduating in June 2013 from Queens College.
Hi, I'm Catherine Miller. I'm a grade 12 student in Queens College and I'll be graduating in 2013.
Hello everyone, my name is Shannon Butler and I'm currently the deputy head boy for this school year and an eager graduate of the class of 2013.
Have you ever seen a plethora of F's on your assignments or a bunch of zeros on Edline? Because I have. Have you ever been told by your peers, you don't need to do that, that's just a little zero. You know, you can make up for that later. I have. I want you to know the greatest feeling in the world is being able to prove these people wrong.
My academic career within Queens College High School has always been pretty good, but it wasn't always as smooth as I would have wanted it to be. You see, I was making good grades in my classes, but I knew I wasn't maximizing my full potential. I would look at kids around me and I would say, how are they getting on the principal's list when I'm not? What am I doing wrong? Then, around 9th grade, I put it all together. You see, they were making every single test, classwork, homework, and quiz grade count.
During grade 7, 8, 9, and grade 10, I was not focused. I was playful and I was struggling to maintain my 2.8, 2.9 GPA. Actually, when I was placed in Miss Dadwald's class, she noticed the potential in me right away. She said, you know, Morgan, you gotta get focused. You gotta stop being playful. You can do better than this because you are better than this. And that stuck with me for a long time, so much so that I went home and I spoke to my brother about it. And he said, you know, you may be on Facebook and you may be on Twitter and you may see your friends who are doing great. And they may be chatting along with you and thinking, and you may be thinking that they're not studying. But after you fall asleep, the hours that they're putting in after and the hours that they're waking up to and then they're studying and they're doing extra work, that's what gets them their 3.89s and their 4.0 GPAs. And he scared me straight into doing well on every exam, every test. And the next end of term exam we had, I was shocked. I was on the honor roll for the first time ever, and it was a great feeling. And everyone should feel that feeling. After that, I was on the honor roll every term, and I haven't dropped since.
To get a good grade, you have to put in the effort. And some subjects take more effort than others do.
Even though I've been successful, it hasn't always been easy. There have been many challenges, especially in grade 10, when I was facing my math PGCSE. I narrowly made the cutoff. And that just made me want to try harder and keep practicing, keep studying. When it came to the BGCSE, I went in there, I was ready, and I got an A.
My first tip for you is based on my experience in grade 10, and that is that you need to stay organized. You need to use your homework diary as if it's your best friend. When your teachers give you something or any dates you need to write down, do it immediately. Don't waste any time.
In grade 10, I did BGCSE math, and math that was always so easy for me became very difficult. And I seemed to be the only one not getting it. Everyone was doing so well, and it was very discouraging to me, and I stopped trying. On my Christmas exam, my score was abysmal. It was not good. I just got over the pass mark. And it made me develop even more of a mental block. I just became very hostile towards math, and I didn't try my homework, and all I did was memorize my equations. I didn't make the effort to actually learn anything. And it wasn't until Easter that I realized that I was going to fail, not because I couldn't do it, but because I didn't try. So I decided to put in the effort.
Then came grade 10. I would go home every day after school and review the work my teacher had given to me that day. Then, on the weekends, I would try to review everything I'd gotten that week. I would also study for the homework as if it were a test, and quiz myself using the homework as a guide. That way, by the time as I got to the actual test, it wasn't a mad rush to learn all this information I had ignored before. That made my grades higher and also made everything less of a struggle for me.
In August, when I went to pick up my BGCSE results paper, I of course wasn't satisfied with anything less than perfect, but when I saw that A in literature, I was ecstatic because that was a subject where my teacher in December had told me she wasn't sure about putting me in, but she told me I could do it, and I decided I was going to make her proud. I was going to put in the extra work, I was going to write those extra essays, have it for her to check, and I ended up getting the A. So I want to encourage you to do the same thing. If you put in the extra work, you can do well with whatever subject you want. Don't say that it's not your subject that isn't for you, because you can do anything as long as you put in the work.
I know that some of you may have been sitting in the service of excellence and you didn't get to go up, and you're clapping your friends on and you're cheering your classmates, and you look down and you realize, I haven't gone up. I haven't been recognized, and I want you to know that I have been sitting there in that same seat and I have asked myself these same questions.
Throughout the entire 11th grade, I had to give a lot of things and give a lot of my time and give a lot of myself. Throughout the year, I found myself going to bed late at night, sometimes 2 o'clock and sometimes not at all. I had to do this because I knew that I needed to succeed this year, and I needed to realize my goals of hopefully becoming the top achiever in the country.
I've always been a good history student, but in grade 11, I failed my history Christmas mock exam miserably because I didn't pace myself properly in the exam. To get over that, I bought the BGCSE booklets and I timed myself. And it did take a while, but eventually I was able to write my essays in the time.
Grade 11 was my hardest year at Queens College. It was rough, and you 11th graders are going through it now. But believe me when I say, it's not impossible. In terms of coursework, I think my worst coursework story came with literature. As you know, in grade 11 for Lit, you can formulate your own question and then write out your response. I thought I came up with a great question, and so I went to all the extra classes, I wrote out my response, thought I did great. Then, about a week later, Ms. Hilton pulled me aside. She said, "Morgan, you have to do this again." I said, "What happened, Ms. Hilton?" And then she informed me that I made my critical mistake with literature. You see, I always have a tendency to lean more towards narration than being analytical. In my mind, I thought I can't talk about symbols and themes without talking about the storyline first.
Grade 11 was by far the hardest year up to that point. And one of the challenges was RE coursework. I almost gave up on it. I told my teacher, I don't think I can do this exam. He said that you can do it, just keep trying, just finish that coursework, study, you'll do well. And that's what I did. I finished the coursework and I went into the exam and I got an A.
My third tip for you is based on my experience so far in grade 12, and that is that you need to understand all your work. When you're sitting in class writing notes, if you don't understand anything, raise your hand and ask the question. I'm sure at least 5 of your friends are going to be very appreciative of what you did.
In grade 12, I'm taking SAT 2 biology. And biology I've never had a problem with before, but it's gotten a bit more difficult just because everything is so detailed and particular. So to deal with that, I go online, I go on YouTube, and I research videos. Last week I went on Khan Academy and I looked up cellular respiration, and it made understanding the material easier because when you have a visual, it's a lot easier to remember, at least for some students.
Grade 12 is extremely difficult, and one of the challenges right now is calculus. My first exam, I failed really bad, but that just made me want to try harder, keep going at it. Been practicing in the class, I'm doing well now, and then hopefully I'll do well on the AP exam.
Then came grade 12. I think my biggest issue was balancing the huge new array of information presented by these tough courses along with college applications. So I did as I've been doing for the last 3 years. I would come home after school and plan out and write out my schedule for the evening. I would plan out everything to a T. An hour for math, 2 hours for psychology, whatever I had to get done. I even scheduled naps. That way I wouldn't just collapse from exhaustion and then wake up hours later in a daze.
What I want to tell my fellow QC students is that don't waste time. You don't have a lot of time to do things, and you may tell yourself, oh yes, I have time to do that, that's simple. That's not true. I know this because I'm a procrastinator and I put things off till last minute. And it builds up in the end, and in order to get over this, I have to make a plan. I write down what I'm going to do, how I'm going to do it, how long it's going to take, and more importantly than making my plan, I have to stick to my plan. And that means sometimes telling my parents, hey, this is all the stuff I have to do so that when I get off track, and I do get off track sometimes, they can gently remind me that I have work to do.
Each night I went home, I would spend many hours doing homework and many hours studying. I did this because I needed to thoroughly understand everything that I was taught in class. I actively studied day after day, night after night, and this is what actually allowed me to achieve the grades that I did.
I too was a late bloomer, and I'm grateful that I had that paradigm shift, and I had people that told me my approach to education wasn't right. And I remember talking to Mr. Phelps, and he told me this quote and said, if you don't use your own mind, somebody else will. And that stuck with me up until today. That is my favorite quote. And when I heard that, I went home in grade 10 and I told my mommy, you know, these electronic things, they're distracting me. So I told her to take my camera, my phone, my laptop, my iPod, everything that could possibly deter me from studying, to hide them. Don't tell me where they are. Up to this day, I still don't know where they are. But that's what helped me to stay focused.
One of the worst things you can do is to leave school unclear about anything. Go to your teachers after class, during the break times, during the lunch times to clear up anything that you have. Also, the homework center, the math lab, these are things that are here to help you. Just tell your parents to pick you up half an hour or an hour late so you can go there and do your homework where someone can help you with it and make sure that you understand exactly what you're doing.
You don't have to be smart to get a good grade, but you do have to put in effort. There's a saying that goes, hard work beats talent almost every single time.
It is essential that you remain aware of the amount of time that you spend on social networking sites and other time wasters such as television and video games. You have to keep focused and keep your head in the game, and always keep your academic goals as priorities. This will ensure that you do the best that you possibly can.
Choose your friends wisely. You want to surround yourself with people who are going to do what you want to do, achieve what you want to achieve, push you ahead and not pull you down. You want people who are going to help you to stay above the influence, not crack under peer pressure. And that's what most people forget to do. And that's what I did through 7, 8, 9, and grade 10. In grade 11, that's when it all changed, and it can change for you.
It's also very important that you stay motivated. Have a passion for your education. Set a goal and do everything to get you towards that goal.
I knew in terms of colleges, each school had a list of requirements I had to fulfill. So I wrote and rewrote my essays. I got my teacher recommendation letters. I went to Mr. Schools and got all my transcripts and school forms information filled out. That way, when I sent off my applications, I knew I had done my best.
One of my greatest accomplishments is probably getting into my top choice college, Elmira College, early decision. I only applied to one school and everyone was like, Morgan, you're crazy, Morgan, you don't know what you're doing. But it's because I had so much faith in how much work I put in that I knew that God had a plan for me and that I was going to get accepted. And I did. And you can do it too, I promise you.
Okay, nothing comes without hard work. It really is going to be worth it in the end.
I'd just like to encourage you all to do well. Just keep trying hard.
I've always tried to be the best that I possibly could, and I encourage all of you to do the same. If you pursue excellence, you will always find success following you.